So, hello viewers, today we're going to be playing Dawn of War Dark Crusade, and we're going to be playing on normal mode. Skip this intro. Now, we're going to be playing the best faction. Pretty much just the average English person that goes to the pub. So, here we go.
He formed a new war pact from Ork freebooters and pirates and others pushed out of the Lord's system and set about raiding worlds on the outskirts of the Tau Empire, gaining resources along the way. When Cronus sent out desperate calls for help against the Necrons, Gorguts sent his forces to strike at a vulnerable target. Gorguts' war fleet dropped out of the war only to find Imperial and Tau fleets squaring off above Cronus. The Orks lost several ships, but the clashing fleets were unable to repel the large number of rocks Gorguts threw into the atmosphere. These massive landing ships, made from converted asteroids, smashed into the green coast and unloaded their bands of Ork invaders. There, Gorguts brought the local feral Orks to heel and set about his conquest. The law had come to Cronus.
So there you go, that was the Orc intro cinematic. So, this works a bit like Total War. We have multiple strongholds, this is our stronghold. Now I've played this before, but I'll give you like the rundown. Over here we have us, the Orcs. Over there we have crazy people, Terminators, people that use tactics from World War One, people that use mech suits, Space Marines, and Eldar. So, now we could either go over here, or we could go down here. Now the big problem that we've got is we have no honor guard, all we have is our leader, and it's on normal difficulty. So, we could fight against people with weapons that will absolutely kick our asses in because they've got good range guns, or you can fight crazy people. So, here we go. So, our plan for this episode is that we are going to push onto the left side of the map to prepare for an assault on the Tau stronghold, which I've played before, and it is one of the more difficult strongholds to take. So, our objectives for today's episode is going to be cripple Tau forces to gain more honor guard and secure the left side of the planet. Now their objectives are most likely going to be to stop us and to keep the territory. So without further ado, that is the end of the planning phase of this operation. Now it's time for the phase where we actually start to fight the enemy and gain territory. So here we go, the fighting phase. We're going to attempt to take the Agamar Desert from the Tau forces. Now, the enemy commander is a skilled combatant, and my force like consists of basic infantry, a single base. Here we go. So we're just going to try early on capture some points. Now how this game works is any buildings that you build on the map during a skirmish, they will stay there. So our main objective is going to be to destroy the Tau base, but to also fortify this area. Here we go. So we had our first engagement with the enemy, well at least the commander unit. Now the good thing about the Orks, and why I recommend playing them in the campaign, is their commander unit is more than enough, a lot of the time, to fend off enemy attacks. Because if you look at this, well, the enemy's getting stomped. So we're going to send our troops down there to capture the relic. Now how the Orks work is their resources work a bit differently to the other factions in game. Ork resource, how that works, it's less of a resource and more of a population cap. You need Ork resource to build anything that, like, unit wise. So, for example, if I want to build a Slugger Boy squad, I need 4, so I have 20. Now, you gain more of it by building more war banners. And how it works is, when your units die, you gain that unit's worth in Ork resource back. So it's like a cap instead of a resource. So we've got our sluggers here. Flamethrowers, what they do is they decrease enemy morale. So they're very useful. So if you feel like you're not going to be able to fight them effectively when the enemy's at full strength, just give your units some flamethrowers. So we've captured a few points, we'll build some listening posts, and yeah. So they have captured that point. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give them flamethrowers. And we're going to get another squad of Gretchens. Never mind. So here we go, another squad of Gretchens. Now we're going to get another listening post on here. Now Gretchens, they can actually reinforce for free, and they don't require Ork resource, so they're very useful. Now I've attached my leader unit, the war boss, to this Slugger Boy squad, so they now have a lot of health and morale. So yeah, they're going to be a bit difficult to the enemy's going to have a lot of trouble defeating them. So we're going to place another war banner there. Now, relics are very useful. What relics do is they allow you to get some of your most powerful units out. See? Enemy computer 1 captured the relic. Now, I'm not really playing Orks optimally here. So what we want to do now is we want a boys' hut. Now what this does is this is our barracks. So if you've played any other real-time strategy games, this is your building that gets you all your infantry, like your riflemen, stuff like that. So we can actually build a war banner here, which is good. Now the unique thing about the Orks is all of their buildings, apart from generators, pretty much, actually have turrets, so they can defend themselves. So while the Orks are a very good faction for like charging people with swarms, they're actually very good for turtling as well, because the enemy can't attack you early on because they can't get past your defences. So we've got a shooter boy squad here. Now these are our ranged units. So we'll build one of them and I'll show you what they can do. Now we've got some Slugger Boy squads with burners. Now you'll notice that sluggers, there's a lot of them in this squad. It's more like a horde than a squad now. So we're going to go over here and we're going to get a boys hut. Now because we've built so many war banners, we can actually get a mech shop. Now the mech shop is a very good and useful building. Because what it can do is it can actually get you vehicles. So we're going to build some more generators because you need power. And while the Orks remain the infantry focused faction, so you won't need too much power, they do have important upgrades from an upgrade building. I'll build that in a bit. So the shooter boy squad, they're not the best ranged unit in the game, not by a long shot, but they're alright for our purposes. Now, shooter boys aren't going to be the best in this situation since we're fighting against the Tau, and they have some pretty decent ranged units. So we're not going to be outgunning them, normally however. But this building, the pile of guns, that is going to be useful. This building is going to get us some upgrades, which is definitely going to help a lot. Now what we can do with the listening post is we can upgrade them. So I'm going to start doing that. Now upgrading the listening posts, for most factions it would give them, well, a method of defence. But for the Orks it improves their method of defence and, well, gets you more money. Requisition. So we're just going to put our Orks there as a sort of choke point. Now, this is a pretty well defended area and no one's getting past this. Now, we're going to put a... Oh! So, the Tau have sent some Kroot Carnivores over here. We're going to use that ability. So they shouldn't be able to get past that defence over there since we've got a war boss helping. We'll also put a bigger generator on the slag deposit. So we'll put... Now here, as you can see, we've managed to, well, defend pretty decently. Now that is their commander unit, so we're gonna, instead of having our shooters attack, we're gonna have the sluggers attack with the war boss. Now the shooters, we're gonna upgrade them with big shooters, which are basically machine guns. They're very useful and very good. Act as choke points. Oh, over here we've got a battle. Now usually attacking a fortified listening post would be a bit of a challenge. But because we have a war boss and a leader, and we've also got some upgrades for him, then it's going to not be as difficult as it usually would be. So that listening post has finished its upgrade. We'll upgrade this one as well. It gives the leader a power claw, which makes him a bit stronger in combat. We're also going to improve the firepower on those. Now, we're actually going to build the mech shop over there. Here we go. So we've got a bit of a decently sized battle going on here. Now, these units are annoying because they're stealthed. But don't worry, we'll beat them. We'll beat the enemy. Now the mech shop's still being built. Now that listening post is shooting back, so we're going to take cover a bit and capture that point. So we got the big mech. Now he can actually teleport, so we'll put him in that squad. So we've got a decently sizable military force. And we've got a killer can built, so we'll get our killer can with our other units. Now there's some fire warriors over here, so we're going to shoot them. Oh, there's their commander unit. We've got two sort of leader units in this. So, yeah. So capturing that point and we're getting our killer can moving. Now I can give the killer can a rocket launcher. Or we couldn't. It's up to you. It's completely up to preference. Now the big shooter, while it is no heavy bolter, it is still very useful. So don't sleep on it. It's a very useful upgrade. So we've got our main attack force, and we're going to try find their base. So here we go. You don't need too many buildings and things early on in this. Since it's just like a stage 1 base, you don't need that many upgrades and things. So here we go. Now there's some carnivores behind us. Now those are dangerous, so we're going to send the can after it. Now see, they're infantry, so when the killer can goes after it, they're going to start fleeing. Now see the killer can here? It's very useful against infantry. Now look, they're already demoralised, and because we've got shooters shooting at them, they won't last long. Now this is their HQ building, and we're tearing it to bits. Now our units just got sent flying a bit, but that's okay. Oh, this dude hasn't learnt his lesson, so we'll send the can after it. Now the killer can, look at that. Yeah, killer cans are really good against infantry. Now all of these buildings we've built on the map, they will be here for the next mission. The infantry won't stay though. You've destroyed your enemy's HQ. So we have completed the first battle. Please wait loading. So we have now earned Honour Guard and War Gear awarded. So we can go... Oh, it already brings us here to the War Gear screen. So here we go. This is our leader, and we can give him upgrades. Now a custom shooter gives him bigger range weapon. Mega heavy armour increases his health. The boss pole increases the population vehicle cap and its health. Skulls damages the enemy morale, increases their health. Now this increases melee damage and health. Now these increase melee damage and health too. But what we're going to do is we're just going to get him a bigger claw. So that territory is now worth 5. So we're going to reinforce it with some shooters and Gretchens. Accept. So that was our first conquest of the campaign done.